Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ten of Stones and Home. And I'm posting this a little bit late. Haven't been feeling well the last couple days, so pardon the interruption, right? So the Ten of Stones to me, when I was thinking about this, was home is where the heart is. All right. And this comes on the back of the ten of bows, responsibility, right? So the day before, you're walking up this cliff with these bows, and you're being responsible. And as soon as you get up there, you drop everything off and you go home. And what does that mean? What does that mean? You go home, right? Well, it could be your childhood home. It could be, the home that you're living with, on that mountaintop, right? It could also just be, the spiritual home of where you reside. And I like to talk about the spiritual, the Spirit's path and the path that you're on, right? And, when we talk about the spiritual home, we kind of look at that as the life that is beyond this physical life, right? The spiritual home. And, what do you find in a home? You find comfort, you find joy, you find happiness. There's stability, whether it's a small apartment or, a big, huge mansion, right? And stones represents that stability and security that's going on there. And, when I look back down here at the cards of the week, you've got the Seven of Stones and the Three of Stones as well. That equals 10. So, to me, this is a completion. You're completing a part of a journey, one where you're being responsible, all right? And you're carrying a lot of responsibility on your spiritual path. And that could be spiritual matters as well. And two, you've gone through the Seven of Stones, the healing. You've gone through that creativity, all right? And you're carrying that materialism and that security home with you. You're carrying that sense of confidence and empowerment, because the Sun of Life is still down here as well, of I am very confident in my spiritual path. I'm very confident in secure with, how things are going in my spiritual path. I'm taking in what spirit has to say to me. I'm meditating more. I'm using my intuition. I'm listening to my guides, right? And as you do those things, more and more and more becomes commonplace, second place, really. You just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to go with it. All right. And when you feel so confident in your spirit, in your walk, you're on that Spirit's path, as you're walking up that mountain with all these responsibilities, you come home. You can lay that bow down. You can lay those cares and concerns down, that anxiety, because here's a place of safety. Here's a place of refuge. All right. And when you look out your door, you may see this version of a world tree that somebody's, built their home around, giving them the confidence, the security, stability, right? And you're looking out from your house to this. So, this to me is, as you're walking up that mountain, you're dropping off those bows, and you get home, you just kind of look out your back door, or you look out the front door. You look at the neighborhood that you're in. Maybe there's wildlife like there is, in my backyard, that gives you pleasure. You come home from that long day of work, and you kick off your shoes, and you sit down in your favorite chair. You're relaxed. You don't have those worries, all right, of, the Three Little Pigs just come to mind. One builds his house out of straw, another one builds it out of wood, and the third one builds it out of brick. Right? You don't have to worry about the big bad wolf blowing it down, because your home is secure. Tens are all about completions. Okay, to me, this is not not an ending, right? But this is a completion of your spiritual walk and saying, you know what? I've done so well here over the last, 5-6 weeks. I feel very comfortable in my spiritual journey, on my spiritual path. So much so that you feel at home in it. You're listening to your ancestors. You're feeling the universe speaking to you. And you're relaxed. You're not stressed out over it. And when you can start applying those things into other aspects of your life, the materialism, the security, stability of what the stones represent, okay? Understanding that, you know what? I've made it this long on my spiritual path with the finances that I am. And things are staying even. It's because the universe is looking out for you. The spirit world is looking out for you. You're looking out for yourself on your spiritual path. When you look at the confidence and the empowerment coming from the air signs, right? The arrows. We just went through a stint of those. And the confidence and everything going on with that. When you can apply that to your passion, the fire, right? It's a culmination, here the Ten of Bows is all about fire and passion. A culmination of that, right? You've gotten to a point on your spiritual path where you feel very comfortable in the way you speak. They articulate your messages. You feel very comfortable, in your passions that you have. As this being the completion of the bows, here yesterday. And when you feel that completion with everything, you feel at home within yourself, home with the spirit that's within you. And you're communing with that. And, sure, things change over time. But once you recognize this feeling of home, and love, joy, security, stability, happiness, you yearn for it more and more and more on your spiritual path as you're walking forward. And you recognize it faster and faster and faster. And you enjoy it. So take time today to, sit back at your own home and look at your surroundings, look at where you are at in life, and take stock of where you're at spiritually. And just understand that as you continue to walk, you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to take on new challenges and new obstacles. And something else about this card, we haven't talked about it in a while. This was the card at the bottom of the deck as I was drawing it. I think this hasn't even come up this year, to be honest with you. So, this is fortuitous that it's coming to you now, because it's letting you know all the hard work that you've done over the last year, okay, is paying off. Because you've got that comfort level within yourself, with your stability, with your security, and you feel at home within yourself. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the Ten of Stones and Home. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for A Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, everybody.